40,000 years ago, Kelo looks across the fire and makes a mistake. He stares too long. Nora notices, probably half the camp notices, and her sister definitely does. Rejection here does not end with an awkward walk home. Tomorrow, Kelo still has to eat beside every witness and trust them when something large moves in the dark. So how do you tell one person, "I want you," without telling everybody else?
A reconstruction follows a polished tooth, a risky taste of honey, and a flute made around 40,000 years ago. But the move that mattered most left nothing to excavate. Prehistoric flirting may have been more public than dating today, and somehow more secret. Everyone could see what you were doing, while only one person needed to understand what it meant. Nara holds Kelo's gaze for a moment. Then she looks away. It lasts half a second, long enough for Kelo to wonder whether she meant it. Flirting works because it has an escape hatch. If the other person responds, the signal was real. If they do not, well, Kelo was not staring at Nara. He was staring at the exceptionally interesting rock behind her.
We will never excavate a blush, so what follows is a reconstruction from the objects people wore, made, and shared. Nara and Kelo are fictional. Their dilemma is not. Different groups had different customs, so we're looking for signals available to ancient people, not one universal Stone Age rulebook. The next morning, he needs a reason to be near Nara without looking as if he needs a reason. He joins her task, and when the group moves, he falls into step beside her. She could smile, but smiles belong to everybody. She could sit closer, but perhaps that is simply where the smoke is not blowing. She checks whether he followed. After the fourth accidental seat beside the same person, coincidence starts looking deliberate.
That uncertainty is not a weakness. It is the mechanism. The signal has to be clear enough for Nara to catch and vague enough for Kelo to survive if she does not respond. This time, when he sits beside her, Nara does not move away. That is enough encouragement for him to risk being more obvious. Kelo owns one thing designed to be noticed: a polished tooth on a cord. Before the evening gathering, he puts it on. Archaeologists have found pierced shells more than 100,000 years old. Some shells were naturally perforated. Others were deliberately modified or drilled with stone tools.
Some were gathered at the coast. Someone carried one, traded it, moved it far inland, and kept it from breaking. Before it communicated beauty, it communicated a network. To an inland child, a bright coastal shell could have looked extraordinary. A necklace might show group identity, status, or taste. Its meaning was not necessarily romantic, but it was made to be seen. Nara has ochre on her fingers and shells braided into her hair. Both have made an effort tonight, and neither misses the others. The tooth may catch her eye, but she already knows the man wearing it. In a group this small, nobody mistakes your uncle's tooth for your heroic hunt.
Kelo is not meeting Nara. She has known him for years. She has already seen the version of him no first date is supposed to reveal. Nara glances at the tooth, then back at Kelo. He cannot tell whether she is impressed. A glance at an ornament tells him very little, so the next day, he gets less subtle. Kelo finds a wild hive inside a hollow tree. There is no jar waiting below. He climbs toward honey protected by thousands of insects with a strong opinion about theft. He gets down and runs with the comb held overhead. The honey is still dripping when he returns to camp.
There's the honey around, but Nara gets the first piece. In a circle this small, everyone can see the preference. This is why the honey means more than the tooth. An ornament can suggest a story. A scarce food, handed over in front of everyone, makes Kelo pay the cost immediately. Nara takes the honey, then she breaks it and gives half to a child beside her. Kelo cannot tell whether she missed his signal or understood it perfectly. People are watching to see how he reacts. He smiles and passes the next piece along. Finding food showed skill. Passing it around showed what kind of person you were. In a group that depended on sharing, both mattered. Her response reminds him that she is watching his behavior,
not merely accepting his gift. Later, Nara sets a decorated shell beside his hand and walks away. No speech and no explanation. It is enough of an answer to make him dangerously confident. Everyone here has seen Kelo hungry, frightened, tired, and wrong. Nara has watched him share credit, help the injured, and lose his temper. He has watched her just as closely. One gift might impress her tonight, but it cannot erase years of selfish behavior. And she is not the only judge.
Prehistoric courtship may have involved less discovery than modern dating, and far more verification. Nara does not need to ask whether Kelo is generous. She wants to see whether the generosity survives disappointment. He tucks the shell into his cord. By evening, the group is gathering again, and somebody starts a rhythm. Hands beat against wood, and people begin moving. This is Kelo's chance to become interesting in public. Dancing lets everyone see how you move, and whether you can survive looking foolish. Kelo steps forward. Nara watches. He notices her watching and immediately becomes 10% worse.
We do not know what their dances looked like, but some of their instruments survived. Flutes carved from bird bone and mammoth ivory date to around 40,000 years ago. They may have accompanied rituals, games, or gatherings, and perhaps the occasional attempt to impress one particular listener. Kelo, it turns out, is not the musician. Nara lifts the flute and finds the melody. The group quiets. He forgets his dance. He came to be noticed, but now he cannot look away. Watching Nara, Kelo finally understands that she has been judging him as closely as he has been watching her.
When the song ends, Kelo makes her laugh. It is not a perfect joke. He attempts one of her notes and produces a noise like an injured bird. She tries to show him the fingering, and now they have an excuse to sit closer. Ornaments, food, and dancing might get someone noticed, but Nara has known Kelo for years. What she sees on ordinary days, whether he shares when food runs low or helps without demanding repayment, probably tells her more than tonight's performance. By now, the flirting is almost over. The question is whether those early signals were telling the truth.
Nothing dramatic happens. He looks for her when the group moves. She leaves room beside the fire. Soon, they have a joke nobody else finds quite as funny. Winter narrows the group's choices. On one hunt, Kelo comes back unable to put weight on one leg. For weeks, others carry what he used to carry. Nara brings him food before taking her own share. She sits with him after the others leave for the day's work, and when the fire burns low that evening, she is still there. The strongest signal was not the tooth, the honey, or the flute. It was what somebody did when there was nothing left to display. Kelo understands the gesture. Ancient humans probably flirted the way we still do, by giving one person slightly different attention while preserving enough ambiguity to deny it. It lived in small choices, where you sat, what you wore, who received the first portion, and whose song made you stop talking. The exact rules vanished with the people who used them. The awkwardness did not. Kelo looks across the fire again. This time, Nara is already looking back. A look can begin the conversation, but at some point, somebody has to move closer. Some humans cross that distance with a kiss. Others never did. And kissing may not have begun as romance at all. So where did kissing begin? And why did it spread?